Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we have a huge multi-state and even I guess multi-country store haul for you folks at home. Run the video. Alright then folks, before we get today's video rocking and rolling, just a couple of quick announcements here. First one is a big one, and that is a giveaway announcement. An excellent way for you folks to win some great bottles of whiskey out there. And wait until later on in the video to find out one of those bottles. So what we'll be doing is, just as we're hitting 3,000 subs, and I thank you so much for everybody out there who's taken the time to subscribe to the channel. It means so much to me, and it's a big reason of why I do these videos. And then secondly, I wanted to do a big giveaway at 5,000 subs. Yes, we're about 2,000 off, but I kind of ascertained we'll be there in about 4 months or so. So I really want to do a big giveaway during a live stream. But what I'll do is I'll put a video out as we're getting closer to 5,000 saying like, this is the giveaway video, comment in down below and be a subscriber to be in with a chance. You don't have to be there on the live stream. But I want to do it now so it gives us a lot of time in advance to get some good bottles for that live stream together. So wait around today to see one of those bottles that'll be added, but it's going to be some really great bottles of whiskey, and it doesn't really cost you anything folks. You just need to subscribe, so definitely subscribe if you're on the fence about doing that. Secondly, I'm thinking about closing or kind of pausing the Patreon for the time being. Yes, we've had a decent amount of interest and some really great people who have signed up. But what I want to kind of do is, instead of just getting like a trickling of Patreons, I'm just going to put it on pause right now, and then we'll come back to it at a later date, and then we'll open it back up to see if we can get a decent amount of people joining right now. Just because there's just a bit of a trickle in that we can't quite get the community where we want it to be just yet. So then what we'll do is then we'll open it back up, we'll revisit it later in a few months, maybe towards the end of the year. But if you still want to support the channel, the best way to do that is probably just to buy some of the glassware, which is like below MSRP. So if you're in the market for some awesome premium glassware, go over to the whiskeycove.square.site. The link is down in the description below, and go and purchase some of that fantastic glassware shipped to your door, rock bottom prices. With that being said, let's get into today's video and what a haul we have in store for today. So basically, recently I took a road trip from Colorado up to Vancouver and Washington. So we did hit a lot of states there on the way. However, unfortunately, states like Idaho and Oregon were kind of state run, so I really didn't have any luck whatsoever in those states. But we did have a decent amount of luck in the other states, and we also had some luck of some kind in Canada as well. So let's get this video underway. So first bottle is going to be Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit single barrel. So one of my friends was in Kentucky and he wanted to bring me back some more of the unique bottle, and he brought me back this guy. I'm actually really I'm a big fan of these guys. They're 101 proof, so they're kind of like the Wild Turkey 101, but kind of kicked up a little bit. I think this is better than the Wild Turkey 101, and it should be for the money. But an excellent gift and a single barrel, so it's also unique. I think these retail for about $45, so not too bad, and they kind of come in like the rare breed bottles as well. And this is barrel number 3221, stored in warehouse A, and rick number 47 for those at home. Next up, we stopped in Washington State, and I got this because I haven't really seen this specific bottle in Colorado. And this is the Old Bardstown, made by Willett Distillery. And this is the Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey, but this is the sour mash. So it kind of looks like the Johnny Drum bottle that they put out, but I've never seen the sour mash Old Bardstown in Colorado, which is why I picked this up. And I think it was like $30. I think maybe a little bit more than that because Washington has like a really high funky tax thing going on up there. But still, like I said, I've never seen it in Colorado. Sour mash as well, and apparently it's Kentucky's Gold Medal Award. Not sure, at the State Fair, Award for Excellence. Kind of just means nothing, I guess, like a lot of the awards out there. However, I'm pretty excited to get into this whiskey. Yes, Willett are kind of a little bit of a mercurial kind of talent when it comes to making bourbon. Some of the stuff is phenomenal, and then some of the stuff, much like the pot still, is not good whatsoever. So we'll see what happens with this. We'll get this cracked open and we'll try to do a review on this on the channel. Next up we have, what should we do? Let's do this. We managed to score a Willett purple top, that would be nice. A Willett Green Top in Wyoming as well. So we paid $55 for this, about closer to $60 with tax. I think you're not really gonna find these under $50 anymore, unless you're really lucky to find them at a store that hasn't put the price up yet. But nowadays, anything that's kind of released now when it comes to these these Willett Green Tops is going to be $55 or above. In Colorado, these are like $80, $90 at MSRP. So anytime I see them out of state or I'm traveling, I kind of look for these, and as long as they're somewhat affordable, I'll definitely get them. This one's coming in at 54% ABV or 108 proof. Willett Green Top Ryes are just a great juice as well. Yes, you could say there's some other better ryes out there, like the Rittenhouse Rye is an excellent alternative to this, or the Pikesville one is also an excellent one as well. But this is kind of looks like a little bit of a fancy bottle. It has a really nice emblem on the front, and it does taste really nice. Again, a really nice vanilla spearmint note from this rye. And then moving on, we're going to dabble a little bit in some stouts here, but I'll tell you why. So as we were passing up through Greeley, Colorado, which is north of where I'm at, we picked up 2 of these Wildworks stouts. So these are bourbon barrel finished, and these are the Old Rip Medianoche. So that should definitely be a clue of what's in them. They cost me about $25 a piece. And this is, and I'll read the back, it's Old Rip Medianoche features some of the most sought after casks we've ever procured. From our barrel program. Old Rip Van Winkle, so the 10-year. After resting our flagship barrel-aged Imperial Stout Medianoche for nearly 18 months in freshly emptied Old Rip Van Winkle 10-year bourbon barrels, the resulting blend expresses notes of honey, soaked pecans, fresh split Madagascar vanilla beans, creme pâtissier, dark chocolate, cinnamon, butter, and just a hint of dried sweet cherries. If you're someone who watches the channel, you know I really like these Wildworks finishes because they do finish their stouts on some really awesome bourbon barrels, and this is probably the kind of the crown jewel of some of the stuff I have from them. Like I said, a little bit pricey for $25, but you know, if some of those bourbon notes come through, then I definitely think that's money well spent. So that was Wildworks Imperial Stout Medianoche. Next up, we were in Wyoming, and we were at a store called Town and Country Supermarket and Liquors, and we picked up a 1.75 litre Buffalo Trace single barrel, because this is the biggest shock of this video, isn't it? Patrick on a road trip picking up a Buffalo Trace single barrel. One of my mottos on the channel: you see a Buffalo Trace store pick for a reasonable price and you pick it up, because it's always excellent value for money, and it was on one of our videos recently of some of the best values in bourbon, and this was definitely right in the middle of that list there as well. And a 1.75, so you don't generally see them that much, so even more so the reason to pick this up. I think I paid like $48 for this guy as well, which is pretty insane. Some of those prices up in Wyoming definitely very affordable. And for those at home who care, this is barrel number 240, and again, 1.75 litre Buffalo Trace single barrel. Phenomenal. Next up, heck, let's just stick with Buffalo Trace, I guess, at this point. We also found another Buffalo Trace single barrel. Very fortunate to get this. I think this was close to when I was leaving to go on this trip, and this is actually from a place in Colorado, Dave called Wine and Liquor. This is where I picked this up. This is barrel number 42. Was there what barrel is number 42 as well? Let's have a look. This is 240, sorry. This is 42. This is just a 750 milliliter bottle. We paid MSRP about $25 to $30 with tax. I never try to buy them if they're over $30, but I think at about $27 is right on the money. And of course, we don't need to talk about this any longer, because we know if you see a Buffalo Trace single barrel, you pick it up. So next up, I haven't seen these drop in Colorado, and they might just be dropping from what I'm hearing. But I was up in Washington, as you know, and I picked these guys up. And if you watch our Whiskeys to Look Out For videos, a couple of videos back, I talked a little bit about these. And these are the 2 new releases from Green River. One's a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey coming in at 45% alcohol. And then the other is a Kentucky Straight Wheated Bourbon at 45% alcohol. This is a sour mash, and this was also sour mash as well. These were like, this one was like $32 and this one was like $33, which is fantastic value for money. Obviously, I don't know what the juice is like in the bottle, but you're thinking like Green River, a company that sources so much whiskey to a lot of big distilleries who have a lot of success with their juice. Then I'm hoping for big things from these, and I'll definitely do a review on these for you folks at home. Really cool bottles as well. They're super heavy, super durable. This like wrap sucks, but also has a really cool green kind of paper tack strip on the top there as well. Like I said, almost looks like some of like the Four Roses single barrel strength bottles. But I think even if they're mediocre at best, I still think, you know, for $32, $33, now more so than ever, I think that's good value for money, as long as the juice isn't bad. So that was the new releases from Green River. Let's kind of veer away a little bit from whiskey. And when we were in Canada, I'll put a picture on the screen. We sold this, and this was a full stack of Caribou Crossing single barrels, and that was in Canadian dollars. So I think even with tax, it probably worked out about $75 to $80 out the door. A little bit too much for me. Maybe I'd pick it up if it was $60, but I'm not a big fan of Caribou Crossing. I think that it's just terrible juice. Definitely not worth the hunt. The bottle's cool, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't going to pick any of those up. But what I did definitely want to pick while I was in Canada was some rums, and that is going to be some Cuban rums, because we cannot get this in the US of A, because obviously Cuban exports to the US are banned. So what did we get? We got the Havana Club Original, like clear, the Añejo 3 years, so that's the 3 years aged. And then we also got the Havana Club Reserve, and then we also got the 7 years. So this is the most popular one, these Havana Club 7-year ones. So these are the 7-year aged Añejos. And then we also got the Havana Club Cuban Smoky, so smoky dark rum. So I'm super excited to get into all of these as well. Obviously rum, some good rums make for excellent cocktails. You can definitely sip, especially these 7 years, and probably these two's neat, or maybe even the clear one if that's your thing. So, and this is the best part on the pricing here. So this was in Canadian dollars. So these all range between about $38 Canadian. So they were about 25 bucks American. I couldn't say no, which is why I had to get them. And I wanted to get these for a little bit of a while, but of course, being in the States, I couldn't get them. So super excited and happy to get them. And sometimes, you know, with the nice summer and the nice weather that we're having, I think there's always time to get a nice aged rum on the go. So let's talk a little bit about So lately, anytime I've seen any of these bottles, I've definitely picked these up if they're between if they're below $30, I'll always pick these up at this point now. And that is going to be Early Times bottled in bond. So when we were out and about, we were up in, if I'm honest, I can't even remember the state. It might have been Washington, it may have been Oregon as well. But these are the Early Times bottled in bond, 1 liter, we paid about 27 bucks out the door for each. And the best part, these are all the black plastic tops as well. So these are all the brown foam unlabeled ones, which is fantastic because I have like one of these guys left, maybe two. So now these are good. I'm good on these for a long time. If I see them, like I said, below $30 for these plastic tops, I'm just gonna pick them up at this point because this is pretty sought after juice, I feel like at this point, because they don't make it anymore. So yes, I feel like the Sazerac version isn't too different. However, people die by the fact that they think that there is a difference. So I guess we'll see. So a couple of bottles left here. Let's start with a quick stout. So we were up in Fremont, we were up in Washington and Fremont Brewery up there who do a lot of bourbon barrel finish stuff. And I bought this Mezclilla, a barrel aged cuvee. Cuvee is just a stout and a porter mixed barrel aged. So this should also be fantastic. This was like $5, which is a really good price for some Fremont stuff. And then we have 3 bottles left. Penultimate bottle is going to be this Suntory World Whiskey. So this is a super unique Japanese whiskey. So it's the AO edition, and this is what makes it so unique. So this is a blend, a crafted blend of Irish whiskey, Scotch, American whiskey, Canadian and Japanese whiskeys. I don't think I've ever had a whiskey that's been blended with all like multiple different whiskeys from different countries. So this is going to be a super interesting whiskey to get into. And the best part of this, you're probably thinking, well, you know, you probably don't want to pay $100 on something like that. Well, this is only like $60 out the door. And I think for that price, it's definitely worth a stab. And this is the first time seeing this bottle. And what a weird looking bottle. Kind of has this kind of like triangle looking shape to it, if you can see that. But like I said, you know, for $60, definitely worth, you know, taking a stab, and definitely unique and a bottle you can talk over with some friends. So I'm excited that I picked this up, 43% or 86 proof. I'll definitely do a review on this, that's for sure. And not the first Japanese whiskey we have down in the Whiskey Cove, and probably not going to be the last. But I guess, can you even call it a Japanese whiskey with all those blends? Definitely a Japanese distillery, but super interesting whiskey. So then the last 2 bottles, we'll pull these out here. And that is going to be Old Forester Barrel Strength single barrel. And much like the Buffalo Traces, generally if you see this for like $80 or less, you're gonna have to pick this up. These are from the same place. These are Argonauts 2023 Warehouse K Floor 1, coming in at 64.2%. Why did I get two? So we got one for the Whiskey Cove, and then we had one then for this giveaway that we're gonna do at 5,000 K subs. So this is the first bottle going into the Whiskey Cove 5,000 sub pool. So this is one of the bottles you'll be able to win. And every time we'll add something, we'll let you guys know at home, and then we'll also see what we have in there as well. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be in for a chance to win this and many other bottles there as well. So as you drink through the world's whiskey, one glass at a time, thank you all for watching. Cheers.